engineering, automobile, fluid science, and so on. So basically, in thermal engineering, we have numerous subjects like thermodynamics is there. Then you will be having thermal engineering. For your syllabus, refrigeration and air conditioning name has been changed to HVAC, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. So and heat transfer. So all these subjects are there in higher semesters. So basically, thermodynamics forms the basis of this subject, all the higher semester subjects related to uh, thermal engineering. Okay, so that is why whatever equations you study over here are required in higher semesters as well. Okay, so we'll start with the syllabus part first. Okay, I'll share my screen. So if you have any problem, you can unmute yourself and let me know. Okay, because I will be presenting my screen. Okay. Okay, so myself, Mr. Rishabh Nelvanki, I am assistant professor in Vidyavardhini's College of Engineering and Technology. My qualification is MTech in Thermal Engineering. Someone please unmute yourself and let me know if my voice is properly audible and whether you can see the presentation properly.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir, we can see.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So see, there is a difference between online. Okay, so if you can say that you will have other platforms as well from where we can study thermodynamics. Okay, so if you visit even NPTEL website or other websites, okay, Coursera or EDX, there also you will find thermodynamics. Okay, but what we are going to study is strictly on the basis of our syllabus. Okay, so if you're doing some other courses, it is fine, but whatever we are doing here, it is actually basically related to syllabus. Okay, so it will be helpful for you in the exam. Okay, so we'll go through some important points related to this. So HOD sir had discussed about the course outcomes. Okay, so we'll come back to this course outcome point again. What is this? Okay, so we'll see the syllabus part. Okay, so there are total, here you can see 1, 2, 3, and next slide 4, 5, 6. So in all, there are 6 modules. Okay, so your syllabus has been changed this time. So only one module is changed. Okay, so we'll see what is the difference between the two syllabus. Okay, so here you can see right side. On this side, this is 2016 scheme, and left side, this screen is your new syllabus. Okay, so both of them are having 6 modules. Only difference is in old syllabus we had a module on compressors. Okay, so compressor module was there, and here compressor module is not there, and that module is replaced by compressible fluid flow. Okay, so this is the major change. Okay, apart from this, we will see what are the other changes. So why we are discussing this? Okay, now question is why we are discussing what was the previous syllabus and new syllabus is because you would see this is the first scheme. So obviously you will be referring previous question papers of old scheme. Okay, so that is why you should know what was there in the previous syllabus and what has been removed. Okay, and you will find some questions you will not find in the thermodynamics question paper, which is new to this syllabus. Okay, so here you can see basically the new course code. It is MEC 305. Previously it was MEC 302. Okay, make sure you are taking the notes. Okay, once the college starts, I will give you printed notes. Okay, but we don't know exactly when will college start. Okay, so what you can do now, you can either take screenshot. Okay, whenever screen changes now, you can take screenshot. And once the lecture is over now, in afternoon or evening, you can write down the notes. Okay, I'll provide you link for ebooks as well. So new syllabus scheme is MEC course code. Course means a subject, and program means mechanical engineering is a program. Okay, so MEC 305 is the new course code, and here you can see old credits. This right side is the old syllabus. So old credit it was 4, and now it has been reduced to 3. Okay. Uh, Next we'll go to the syllabus part. Okay, so basically in old syllabus, right side, module 1 and module 2 over here now has been converted into only module 1. Okay, so you can see here number of hours 7, 7, 14 and 15. So for the one module number 1 and 2, totally here we have 15 hours. And now what is done over here is basic concepts is this part, and first law of thermodynamics this part, both of them. So module number 1 and 2 are clubbed together as module number 1, and see the number of hours difference. Okay, so that is why it will be difficult to cover all the things here. Okay, I'll try to cover everything. Okay, so if you feel I am fast now, what you can do, you can either we can conduct a separate session if you have any doubts or something like that. Okay, so our speed will be a bit high. If you feel it is very much high, you can stop in between, open your mic and let me know about the speed. Okay, so basically, so module number 1 and 2 of old syllabus is now module number 1 of new syllabus. Okay, module number 3, second law and entropy is module number 2. Then module number 4 is module number 3 over here. Okay, next part, uh, in module number 4, we have two things. Okay, 1 minute. So in module number 4, we have two things. Here, if you see, there were only in this module, it was only module number 4, thermodynamic relation and availability and properties of pure substance. This all came into module 4. Okay, but here this thermodynamic relation and availability is now in module 3, and in module number 4, this part, properties of pure substance, and module number 6 part, vapor power cycle, has been taken in module number 4. Okay, so module number 4 is from old syllabus, it was part of module number 4 itself and module number 6. So this is new module number 4. Module number 5 is part of module number 6. Okay, so this was the module number 6. Okay, so it has been now taken as module number 5, and previously we had this compressor module. Okay, chapter on compressors. This has been removed, and instead of that we have compressible fluid flow. Okay, so any doubts about the syllabus? Someone please open your mic and let me know if the voice is clear. Hello.
Yes, sir. Voice is clear.
Okay, so basic difference is only module names are shifted. Module 1 and 2 has been clubbed. Old module 1 and 2 has been clubbed to make single module. Okay, and module which has been replaced is, in old syllabus we had compressors. Okay, that has been removed, and new module has been added, which is known as compressible fluid flow. Okay, so this is the difference between the syllabus. Now the problem is, here you can clearly see the number of hours for 1 and 2 module. Basically syllabus is same and number of hours is reduced. Okay, so this will create a problem. That is why we might require some extra lectures. That is why we might require some extra lectures as well. Okay, so this is about the syllabus part. Okay, after that we'll see what are the course outcomes. Okay, so what is the meaning of course outcome? What students will be able to do after studying subject of thermodynamics. Okay, so based on module number 1, okay, basic concepts and first law, what is the course outcome? The students will be able to apply first law of thermodynamics for various flow and non-flow processes, systems, and compute heat and work interactions. Okay, so there are different systems like flow and non-flow systems. Okay, so this we will see what is meaning of this. So flow and non-flow system. This we will cover today itself. Okay, and computation of heat and work interaction. So this is related to module 1. Okay, next module 2. Okay, module 2 is again important module. Okay, here we have actually we have three parts for post CO2. Second law of thermodynamics. Okay, entropy and availability. Availability is part of module 3, but all these three are linked together. Okay, so how that these three things are linked now we will see in the lectures. So based on this second law, entropy and availability, we have another course outcome. Students will be able to compute quantification and grade energy using second law, entropy and availability. Okay, next based on module number 4, properties of pure substance and vapor power cycle. So this vapor power cycle is basically about the steam power plant. Okay, coal power plant. So coal power plant generates steam and that steam is used. Okay, so all those things will come under vapor power cycle. Okay, so this vapor power cycle and properties of pure substance. Okay, this is related to CO number 3, course outcome number 3. So student will be able to use steam table and Molear chart to compute properties of steam and Rankine cycle parameters. Okay, so this Rankine cycle, it is used where in power plants. Okay, so in this case, you have to purchase steam table and Molear chart. Okay, so in steam table itself, there will be Molear chart on the backside of the steam table. So every student has to purchase this in the college exam. Okay, 20 marks exam, steam students themselves have to bring the steam table. Okay, college will be providing steam table only in final exam, not in internal assessment 1 or 2. Okay, now next module, gas power cycle. Okay, what is this gas power cycle? Basics of IC engine. Okay, internal combustion engine, which you see in this one, uh, petrol engine, diesel engine, like that. Okay, like cars or bikes. So here you can see Otto cycle is there, diesel cycle, dual cycle. Okay, then Stirling cycle, Ericsson cycle, and all these things. Okay, so based on this module number 5, again we have one CO. So students will be able to analyze gas power cycles. Okay, so this is the outcome from thermodynamics. Next, module number 6, compressible fluid flow. So by studying that module, students will be able to apply fundamentals of compressible fluid flow to relevant systems. Okay, so based on 6 modules, we have 5 course outcomes. Okay, so you have to remember, I will be sharing this. We will be creating a Google Classroom and I will be sharing this course outcomes over there and also list of textbooks. Okay, along with that, I will share a link of PDF file as well. Okay, textbooks. So this is about the introduction of thermodynamics. So after this, we'll go through module number 1. Okay, so module number 1 will again go through the syllabus. What is the contents of module number 1? Basic concepts and first law. Okay. So so you can start taking screenshots. Okay, so that you can make notes afterwards. So basically, there are many textbooks for this subject. Okay, but I will be using these textbooks. Okay, so whatever my notes are there, it will be from these 5 textbooks. Okay, so first one is, so this is very important textbook, Thermodynamics and Engineering Approach by Eunice Sengel. Then mostly in our college, if you ask seniors, Engineering Thermodynamics by P.K. Nag is being used. Okay, then Engineering Thermodynamics by Dr. D.S. Kumar, Engineering Thermodynamics by R.K. Rajput and by Onkar Singh. Okay, so this list I will share with you. Okay, so if you see the syllabus, I'll share you the syllabus part. Okay, so these are the textbooks listed in the syllabus. So 12 textbooks are listed in the syllabus. Okay, and 13, 14 I have added. So, and in this, whatever is highlighted in blue color, we have soft copy of that. Okay, so first textbook, thermodynamics. This is very good textbook. Okay, thermodynamics by Eunice Angel. Then thermodynamics by P.K. Nath, which most of the students use in our college. Okay, so everything in blue color, we have soft copy of this. Thermodynamics by Onkar Singh. Okay, so lot of numericals, if you see previous papers, you will find lot of numericals from this textbook, Onkar Singh. Then Fundamentals of Thermodynamics by Moran Shapiro. Then Sontag and Engineering Thermodynamics by R.K. Rajput. All this soft copies available with me. So I will be sharing this on Google Classroom. Okay, so after this, so any doubts related to syllabus? A student can unmute and please let me know. Hello. Is my voice audible? Okay. So I'll continue.
Yes, sir.
Bhushan, please turn off your video. Okay, so I'll let you know one thing. This subject is very vast. Okay. Plus the numericals over here. Okay. Each module has numericals. Okay. From each and every module, at least we have one numerical. Okay. Now I'll share with you some things related to marks. Okay. So this was discussed by all the faculties in the university. So module number 1. Okay, weightage in tentatively, this is tentative weightage. So module number 1, it will be asked for 22 marks. Okay, and theory question will be for 10 marks and numericals will be for 12 marks. Now numericals will be asked either on closed system and open system. Module number 2, also you can see here 16 marks numerical is there. Module number 3 also numerical is there. Module number 4, 15 marks numerical. Okay, like that if you see in a distribution, I'll share this file with you. So basically out of 120 marks, 70 marks will be numericals and 50 marks, around 50 marks will be theory. Okay, it is not necessary that this system will be followed, but tentatively this has been decided. Okay, and each and every module has at least one or two numericals. Okay, so and these numericals are pretty tricky numericals. Okay, they are not straightforward. Like if you go for SOM or if you go for mathematics, it will be straightforward. Okay, but thermodynamics, from given data, you have to draw some charts. Okay, PV diagram, TH diagram, and from that you have to first you should be able to draw the chart. Okay, PV and TH diagram and so on. And from that you have to analyze the system. Okay, so the numericals might be tricky, so you will require a lot of practice as well. Okay, so we'll try to cover much of the variety of numericals. So we'll start with the subject. So what is thermodynamics and what is the importance of thermodynamics? Okay, so importance of thermodynamics. So this question is also been asked in the university. What is thermodynamics and explain the importance of thermodynamics. Okay, so what is thermodynamics? It is science of energy, and this thermodynamics can be divided into two words, therm and dynamics. So therm means heat. Okay, so therm means heat and dynamics means power. Okay, so this thermodynamics is governed by three laws. Okay, now what do you mean by a law? Okay, so a law is like we don't have proof of that law. Okay, but you cannot contradict the law. That is why it is called a law. Okay, so thermodynamics, this subject, if you see other subjects, like refrigeration, air conditioning, you will be having everywhere, you will be having proof. Okay, but in thermodynamics, for first law, second law, and third law, you don't have proof. Okay, it is a law. You have to understand what is the law and you have to apply the law. Okay, and it is called a law by because first of all, it is actually based on experimental results. Okay, so these laws, thermodynamics, first law, second law, and third law, these are based on experimental results. Okay. Second important thing is and experimental results and common day observation. Okay, if you observe the nature, common day observation, by that we can get these laws. There is no mathematical proof of zeroth law of thermodynamics, first law, second law, and third law. Okay, so this is the important thing which you have to remember. Even in heat transfer subject, if you see, always there will be derivations. Okay, for whatever law you study in like conduction, convection, radiation, in heat transfer, everywhere you will be having some proof, mathematical proof. Okay, but here directly we have laws. Okay, so we'll see one example here. It is shown. So this content has been taken from Senja. So here a rock at a certain height is there. Okay. So this is example of first law. First law. Okay. In general, which you have studied in mechanics as well. So what is first law? Conservation of energy principle. Right. Energy cannot be created, not destroyed. It can only change forms. Okay. So here one example is given. A rock is there at certain height. Okay. So potential energy is there. Kinetic energy is zero. When it is dropped, so potential energy will start reducing and kinetic energy will increase. So basically the total energy remains same. Okay, so this is the first law. So how this first law is applied in thermodynamics, that we will see afterwards. Okay, now second law of thermodynamics. What is the second law? So in first law, we calculate what is the quantity of energy, what is the quantity of heat, all those things we can calculate in using first law. Okay, related to energy. But energy has quality as well. Okay, so here you can see second law, energy has quality as well as quantity. So quantity we will calculate in first law, but it has quality as well. Okay, how this quality is there? I'll give you an example, simple example. Okay, heat transfers from higher temperature to lower temperature. Everyone knows this. Okay, so what is this exactly? Actual process, that is heat transfer, it occurs in the direction of decreasing quality of energy. What is the quality of energy which is decreasing? You can see example of temperature. Okay, suppose inside temperature is 50 degrees Celsius, outside temperature is 30. Okay, so inside temperature is higher, so heat will transfer from inside to outside. Okay, so basically, one more example I will give you. If you consider a room in which a cup of coffee, hot cup of coffee is left on the table. So what will happen? Coffee is hot. Okay, it is left open on the table. So because of that, it will cool down. Why? Because the temperature of coffee is higher, temperature of surrounding or atmosphere, it is atmospheric temperature. Okay, so because of that, there will be heat transfer, and finally, you will see that temperature of coffee will be equal to temperature of atmosphere. Okay, so here you can see whatever process is there, heat transfer process, this is having a particular direction. Okay, and that direction is what? Actual process occur in direction of decreasing quality of energy. Okay, so this is the importance of thermodynamics. So what is the importance of thermodynamics? We study these laws. Okay, so from first law we know what is conservation of energy principle. Okay, by second law we come to know that energy has quality as well. Okay, and from second law we will be able to analyze heat engine. Okay, basic heat engine and refrigerator. Okay, and third law of thermodynamics, this is not there in the syllabus. Okay, but usually in interviews they ask this question, what is third law? Okay, we'll discuss this afterwards in entropy model. Okay. Now, next topic is, so what you can do now, you can take screenshot. Okay, and you can note down the headings. Okay, these headings are important. See, your syllabus has been changed and it has been shortened. Okay, so you will not find all these words in the syllabus, but this content is there in the syllabus. Okay, so kindly note down the heading. Okay, at least note down the heading, and whatever you understand, if your speed is there, you can write down the notes as well. Okay, next one, macroscopic and microscopic viewpoint. Okay, so the approach of analysis of thermodynamics is divided into two parts: macroscopic approach and microscopic approach. What is macroscopic approach? Study of thermodynamics that does not require a knowledge of behavior of individual particles. Okay, so we are not going into detail what individual particle is doing. Okay, so this is known as macroscopic approach, and it is also known as classical thermodynamics. So macroscopic approach is there in the syllabus which we are going to follow. Second type of approach, microscopic approach. It is based on average behavior of large group of individual particles. It is also known as statistical thermodynamics. Okay, so this is a different subject, statistical thermodynamics. Our subject thermodynamics is basically classical thermodynamics. So here basically in statistical thermodynamics, everything will be related to mathematics, statistics. Okay, because it is related to behavior of individual particles. Okay, so we will be focusing on we will not be focusing on behavior of individual particles. Okay, so our approach, okay, for all 6 modules of thermodynamics will be macroscopic approach. It is also known as classical thermodynamics. Okay, next concept of continuum. Okay, so again, this concept is a very important concept. Okay, and I have seen that most of the students forget this after thermodynamics. Okay, usually this same concept is being used in all the thermal subjects, even in fluid mechanics. Okay, which you will be having after in the next semester. Even in that semester as well, you will be using this concept of continuum. Okay, now what is this concept? So a matter is made up of atoms that are widely spaced in gas phase. So here I will give you one example. So a room is there, an oxygen molecule is there, which is, so here gas is there, oxygen gas in the room, a particular room. Okay, but they are not, the molecules are not nearby. Okay, they are having some space in between them. Okay, yet it is convenient to disregard the atomic nature of a substance and view it as continuous. So what we will do, even though if you see this is one molecule, this is one molecule, there is a gap in between. Okay, so basically because of this gap, if you see there is no continuum. Okay, but even though there is no continuum, we are assuming that there is a continuum. Why? Okay, so because of this, see, from this subject, you have already done some assumption in mechanics as well. Okay, so always in engineering, some assumptions are done so that your problem can be simplified. Okay, so that is why it is convenient to disregard this widely spaced molecules. Why? Because we can treat them as continuous and homogeneous. Okay. Now, what is this continuum idealization? It allows us to treat properties as point function. Okay. So whatever properties we see, pressure, temperature, these are properties of a fluid. Okay. Now you have to remember, fluid means air, okay, gas as well as liquid. Okay, whenever I am saying fluid, it is not necessary that fluid means liquid. Okay, fluid means whatever flows. So gas is also a fluid and liquid is also a fluid. Okay, so whenever I say a fluid word, it means both gas as well as liquid. Okay, so continuum idealization allows us to treat properties as point function and assume the properties vary continually in space with no jump discontinuity. Okay, so if we are not making this assumption, what will happen? One molecule is here, one molecule is here. Yet there will be jump in property over here. Okay, so that is why we assume continuum. Okay, now how this assumption is valid? Okay, we should understand the reason. Okay, we cannot assume anything. So why this assumption is valid of continuum? Okay, so this assumption, idealization is valid as long as the size of the system we deal is relatively large to the space between the molecules. Okay, so I'll give you example over here. This is a room. Okay, in this room there are oxygen molecules. So the area of, or the volume of the room is comparatively very large compared to distance between two molecules. Okay, so if you compare that, in this case, you can assume continuum. But when you are doing study of nanoscience, okay, nanotechnology, in that case, it will be, you have to understand whether you can use this. Why? Because already the scale is lesser. Okay, so you have to properly justify the assumption, whichever assumptions you are making. Okay, so what is this concept of continuum? We are assuming that the substance, even though here there is the distance between two molecules, we are assuming that they are continuous, so that we can assume that the properties are constant. Okay, there are no jump in the properties. Okay, and this is only possible, this assumption is only possible when size of the system we are dealing is relatively large to the space between molecules. So any doubts up till this? If you have any doubts, please unmute your mic and let me know. Is this okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me know if you find the lecture is fast now, you can let me know. Okay, next. Okay, so this concept you will be using in higher semesters as well as this semester. So what is the thermodynamic system surrounding and boundary? Very easy question, a very easy topic. So this is a system. Okay, what is a system? System is defined as quantity of matter or a region in space chosen for study. Okay, so a certain matter is there over here. Okay, we are considering that as a system. Okay, which is chosen for study. Okay, so this definition is not clear at this stage. We will take some examples afterwards. Okay, then it will be clear. So basically, what is a system? Quantity of matter or region in space. Okay, so region in space chosen for study. Okay, the mass or region outside the system. So this is the system. Outside the system is called surrounding. So this is system. System means whatever region you are taking for the study, thermodynamic study. Outside the system, it will be surrounding. Surrounding means atmosphere. Okay. The real or imaginary surface that separates the system from its surrounding is called boundary. Okay, so this dotted red line which you can see, this is known as boundary. Now there are two types of boundaries. Okay, so you can note this down. Okay, note all these words. Okay, if it is possible, you can note down the points as well. So what is a boundary? It is the image. It can be either real or it can be imaginary. We will see example of this. Huh? We will see example of real and imaginary boundary. Don't worry, it is not clear over here by the definition. We will see this with some examples. Okay. So there are actually four types of boundaries. First one is real. Second one is imaginary. So here this boundary is imaginary boundary. Okay. Next type is either fixed boundary or movable boundary. Okay. We'll see example of this. So basically, a system in space, which a region in space which we are selecting for study is known as system. System is region outside system is surrounding, and there is a boundary between system and surrounding. Okay, so this is boundary. So now there are three types of systems. Okay, so we discussed here system, right? So first heading was thermodynamic system. So now we have three types of systems over here. Okay, you will be using this in fluid mechanics as well. Okay, same thing. So closed system control, it is also known as control mass and it is also known as non-flow system. Okay, now you have to relate this non-flow word. Okay, So what is this closed system? We will discuss this. So here one example is given. This is a cylinder. Okay, this is cylinder and this is a piston. Okay, this piston can reciprocate inside the cylinder, but it doesn't have any opening. Okay, now what we are doing is we are studying this gas inside this cylinder. Okay, so basically what will be our system? You can see this dotted line. So this dotted line is our system. Now why is this closed system? Because the definition of closed system is a closed system, which is also known as control mass or non-flow system, means it consists of fixed amount of mass and mass cannot cross the boundary. Okay, so here you can see this is cylinder, this is piston. In between piston and cylinder there is a gas. Okay, now this gas is our area of study, so that is why we draw a boundary over here. This is the boundary, so this will inside part will become a system. Okay, now this is which type of system? Closed. Why? Because mass cannot transfer. Okay, mass quantity is constant. Here you can see m is constant, so mass transfer is not there, but energy can transfer. How energy can transfer? We can attach burner and from outside energy can transfer inside, or when we apply ice to the outside surface, heat will be rejected from the system. Okay, so energy can transfer but mass cannot transfer. That is why this is known as which type of system? Closed system. Now if you see this boundary we discussed, there are four types of boundary: real or imaginary. Okay, so here you can see there are surfaces. Okay, surface is present, that is why this boundary is real boundary. Okay, this boundary is not in air, this is real boundary. Okay, now second type of boundary, third type of boundary is either it can be fixed or movable. Okay, now this piston, it is free to move up and down, so you can see the size of the system, it is changing. So in here you can see second system, second example, second diagram. uh, Here you can see the size of the system, it is smaller. Okay, volume is small, and here see what is the mass is 2 kg. Here also mass is 2 kg. So when this here gas is there in this system, this is cylinder, this is piston, in between this there is a gas. Okay, this gas is having a boundary. This is which boundary? Real boundary. Okay, then this mass of the gas is 2 kg and volume is 1 meter cube. Okay, so this is closed system. Why? Because mass cannot transfer outside the system, but energy can transfer. When we are applying the heater, what will happen? Gas will expand, and in the second diagram here you can see volume is increasing. So mass remains constant, 2 kg 2 kg, but you can see volume 1 meter cube has been changed to 1.5 meter cube. So this type, you can see here system boundary has been moved. That is why this is known as moving boundary. It is not a fixed boundary. Okay, so these three boundaries are moving boundary and this bottom boundary is a fixed boundary. So these are the examples of real and imaginary boundary and fixed or movable boundary. Okay, so this is a real boundary and upper boundary, and these two are movable ones, and lower boundary is a fixed boundary. Okay, so since gas is not flowing out of the system, that is why it is also known as non-flow system. Okay, it is also known as control mass. So mass inside the this cylinder is controlled, it is not moving outside. Okay, this is theoretical subject. Okay, in actual this cylinder piston arrangement, there will be a wall over here, so don't get confused. Okay, this is a theoretical system. Here wall is not present, this is just a demonstration what is the example of closed system. Okay, next one, open system. It is also known as control volume, it is also known as flow system. Okay, so what is a flow system or open system? It is also a selected region in space, but in this case both mass and energy can cross the boundary. So here you can see this was the boundary. From this boundary mass was not transferring, but energy was transferring, crossing the boundary. Okay, now in open system, mass as well as energy will cross the boundary. Okay, so again we will take one example. Okay, so this is a cylinder, this is a piston, in between this we have gas. Okay, and a opening is provided to the piston cylinder arrangement. Okay, now what we do is we will apply pressure on the piston. Okay, so initially at this position, suppose at this position, this is the volume of gas. Okay, so this is the boundary of open system is known as control surface. Okay, so this boundary is known as control surface. Okay, now again, all these boundaries are real boundary. Okay, so what is the example of real boundary and imaginary boundary? Here you can see one example of nozzle is given. So here you can see on upper and lower side surface is present. That is why this boundary is known as real boundary. But at inlet and outlet, surface is not present. Air can move freely from here. That is why this boundary is imaginary boundary. Okay, so real boundary, imaginary boundary, fixed boundary, and moving boundary. Okay, so now whenever you are analyzing open system means both mass and energy will transfer across boundary. Okay, so in this case, this system is known as control volume, CV. It is denoted by CV, and this boundary is known as control surface. Okay, now in this case we have these two are real boundaries, these two are imaginary boundaries. Okay, when you take example again of piston cylinder arrangement, but one condition is here opening is provided. Okay, so here if you see in this case, this is the volume. Okay, and when we push the piston on the bottom side, what will happen? Volume will reduce. At the same time, gas inside will exit from this opening. So mass is crossing the boundary, and we are supplying work to the piston. We are pressing the piston from upper side. So we are supplying the work to the system. So that is why energy is also entering. Okay, that work is entering. It is doing this piston is doing work on the gas. That is why the gas is exiting this port. Okay, so when we are applying pressure from top side, because of that pressure, the gas molecules are going outside. So work is being transferred to the gas molecules. So work is crossing the boundary, as well as when this is being compressed, fluid or gas will exit from the port. So both energy is transferring as well as mass is transferring. That is why this system is known as open system. It is also known as control volume. It is also known as flow system. Okay. So in syllabus, what we had seen is, okay, we'll go back to the syllabus part. Okay. So here you can see first law of thermodynamics applied to flow system. Okay. First law of thermodynamics to non-flow system. Okay, so flow and non-flow system. Now you understood the meaning of flow and non-flow system. Again, I will repeat. Non-flow system, it is also known as closed system, is a system where only energy interaction or energy transfer will occur. Mass transfer will not take place. Okay, we have seen the examples. And in open system, energy transfer as well as mass transfer will take place. Okay, so you ask me in case of nozzle here, how we have, see here you can clearly see by the arrow that mass transfer is being taken place, right? So mass is entering from this side and mass is leaving from this side. So how can we say that there is no energy transfer here? So there can be energy transfer. Why? Because of the nozzle, this action here heat might be generated, and that heat might cross this boundary. Okay, if you consider engine, okay, we supply work. Okay, when we supply fuel, what happens? Engine is also example of open system. When we supply fuel, work is generated. So work is transferred outside the system, right? So that is work transfer. And at the same time, whatever gas is there inside the cylinder, that is also exhausted to silencer. So mass is also transferring. That is why that system is open system. Okay, so we'll see how this nozzle is there when we solve the numericals. Na, we'll be able to understand the examples of open system. Okay, in brief, I will let you know what are the examples of open system. So examples of closed system is a piston and a cylinder arrangement without any port. That is example of closed system. And what is the example of open system? Example of open system is radiator. Okay, vehicle radiator is example of open system. Then nozzle is example of open system. Piston cylinder arrangement with opening is example of open system. Then turbine, which is used to generate power for power plant, that is also an example of open system. Okay, so we will be analyzing all this system using concepts of thermodynamics. Okay, when we apply first law, we will see. Next part, third type of system is isolated system. It is neither closed system nor open system. Okay, so here in first system, only energy transfer take place. In open system, both energy and mass transfer take place. In isolated system, neither energy nor mass, neither mass or energy transfer take place. Okay, so what is the example of this isolated system? Universe. Okay, if we consider our universe, whatever interaction is there, it is inside the universe itself. Okay, so I'll give you one example of this. Okay, so I'll draw a diagram here. So suppose this is a system. Okay, this is system. This is boundary of system. Okay, this is boundary of system. This part is surrounding. Outside part is surrounding. When you consider system and surrounding together, this is universe. So there is nothing out of the universe. Okay, so that is why here what is written, the system in which neither mass nor energy transfer take place is called as isolated system. So this will be system, this is boundary of the system, this is surrounding, and when we have one more boundary which include both system and surrounding, that is known as universe, and this is known as isolated system. One more example of this is thermos flask. Okay, so this is just an idealization. Okay, it is not 100% true. So thermos flask in which we store hot water or hot tea. Okay, that there also mass transfer is not taking place when it is closed, and heat is also not heat transfer is also not taking place. That is why we take consider it as isolated system. Okay, next, closed system. This isolated system is also known as closed system with no energy interaction. Okay, so if you see example of this closed system, so closed system means energy interaction is there. So what is isolated system? Closed system with no energy interaction. Okay, next topic. So next topic is, so this will be last topic for today. After that we will quickly revise and take the attendance. Okay, so next topic is equilibrium. Okay, so in general this is known as thermodynamic equilibrium. Okay, this word is thermodynamic equilibrium. So thermodynamic equilibrium consists of total equilibrium. Total equilibrium means what? Mechanical equilibrium. Okay, let me change the pointer. Mechanical equilibrium, chemical equilibrium, as well as thermal equilibrium. Okay, so thermodynamic equilibrium consists of three parts: mechanical, chemical, and thermal equilibrium. Okay, so we will see the definition of this. A system is said to be in thermodynamic equilibrium when no change in any macroscopic properties. Okay, see this word macroscopic. Macroscopic means we are not going into behavior of each and every individual molecule. Okay, so macroscopic property is registered if the system is isolated from its surrounding. Okay, so thermodynamic, a system is will be in state of thermodynamic equilibrium if it obeys complete equilibrium. Complete equilibrium means mechanical, chemical, and thermal equilibrium. What is mechanical equilibrium? There should be absence of any unbalanced forces within the system and also between system and surrounding. Okay, so there should not be you have studied in mechanics. Okay, when you apply forces from all sides, in module number 1 itself, equilibrium. When you apply the forces, if body doesn't move, it is in equilibrium, like that. Okay, so all the forces should cancel out each other. Okay, there should not be any unbalanced force within the system as well as system and surrounding. That is known as mechanical equilibrium. Chemical equilibrium, there should not be chemical reaction or transfer of matter from one part of system to other, such as diffusion or solution. And thermal equilibrium means there should not be temperature difference. Okay, so everywhere temperature should remain same. So here this statement is a bit complicated. Okay, I'll read this statement. When a system existing in mechanical and chemical equilibrium is separated from its surrounding by a diathermic wall. Diathermic wall means what? Which allows heat to flow, and there is no spontaneous change in any property of system. Okay, what is meaning of this? I'll explain you. Okay, so suppose this is a system. This is a system. Okay, and this system is having a boundary, and this boundary is diathermic wall. Diathermic wall means it allows heat to flow. Now what will happen when temperature inside and outside is same? There will not be any heat transfer, so there will not be any change in property. So same is written over here. When a system existing in mechanical and chemical equilibrium is separated from its surrounding by a diathermic wall. So this is diathermic wall. What is diathermic wall? Which it allows heat to flow, and there is no spontaneous change in any property. So there will not be any change in property. Temperature, everything will remain same. In that is known as thermal equilibrium. Okay. So thermodynamic equilibrium is a system is said to be in thermodynamic equilibrium when it obeys complete equilibrium. Complete equilibrium means mechanical, chemical, and thermal equilibrium. Okay, so we'll stop here. Okay, and quickly revise whatever we have studied today. Okay, so what all things we have studied today? So first thing is related to syllabus. Okay, so in syllabus, module number 1, it is related to first law. Module 2 is second law. Module 3 is related to quality. Module 4 is related to vapor power cycle. Module 5 is gas power cycle. Module 6 is compressible fluid flow. And the change in the syllabus is compressible fluid flow has been added and compressors has been written. Okay, this is the change. This change you should know, so that when you are referring the question paper, you should not say from where I got this question. Okay, there will be questions on compressors there. Okay. Next, I will be sharing you the link today related to the textbooks. Okay. And we saw what we saw today. We saw what is thermodynamics and what is the importance of thermodynamics, macroscopic and microscopic viewpoint, concept of continuum, thermodynamic system surrounding boundary. Okay. So what is thermodynamics? Okay, so thermodynamics is science of energy. Therm means heat, dynamics means power. Okay, so we saw what is first law, second law, third law of thermodynamics, and what is the meaning of law. Okay, it has been proved experimentally. Okay, there is not mathematical proof. Okay, and you cannot contradict it. That is why it is law. Okay, we saw some examples like this rock which is falling from some height for first law. For second law, we saw an example of hot coffee which is kept on a table. So there will be a direction for the energy flow which is given by the quality of the energy. Okay. Next, in macroscopic and microscopic point of view, we saw two types of thermodynamics, classical and statistical. So our thermodynamics is classical thermodynamics, where we are not going to require knowledge of behavior of individual particles. Okay. Next, continuum. What is continuum? We assume that the gas phase, even though atoms are widely spaced, we assume it to be continuous and homogeneous. How can we make this assumption? on the basis that size of the system which we are dealing is relatively large compared to the space between the molecules. Okay, so the size of the system is large as compared to the space between the molecules. Okay. Next, we saw system, surrounding, and boundary. What is system? A quantity of matter in space chosen for study. It has a boundary, and outside the system area is known as surrounding. And when you consider system, boundary, and surrounding together, that is known as universe. Okay. Now boundary we have four main types: real, imaginary, fixed, or movable. Okay. Now types of system: closed system means mass will not transfer, but energy will transfer. Example of this is piston cylinder arrangement with no walls or ports. Open system is a system. It is also known as control volume or flow system. Okay, its boundary is known as control surface. It is a system where mass transfer will take place as well as energy transfer across the boundary of the system. Okay, so here you can see some examples. This is real boundary because here we have surface, and here surface is not there. That is why this is imaginary boundary. And this boundary is movable boundary because piston can move, and the cylinder is, since cylinder is not moving, this boundary is fixed boundary. Okay, isolated system. Already I gave you the example. So neither mass nor energy transfer will take place. And example is universe and thermos flask. Okay, and thermodynamic equilibrium is a system is said to be in thermodynamic equilibrium if it obeys complete equilibrium. Okay, that is mechanical equilibrium, chemical equilibrium, as well as thermal equilibrium. Okay, so mechanical equilibrium means there should not be any unbalanced force within the system and between system and surrounding, no chemical reactions or transfer of matter from one part of the system to other. And thermal equilibrium means in between system and surrounding there will be diathermic wall, so that there will be heat flow and everywhere temperature will become same. Temperature becomes same means it will be thermal equilibrium. Okay, so today we will stop, and tomorrow we will.
Sir, please explain the diathermic wall once again.
Okay. So diathermic wall. Okay, so suppose this is a system. Okay, this is a system, and this is a boundary, and this is a surrounding. Okay, together system and surrounding. System plus surrounding is universe. Okay, so this boundary is made up of which type of wall? Diathermic wall. What is meaning of diathermic wall? It allows heat to flow. Okay, one more wall is there which is known as that we will see when we see the processes. Okay, we have some processes. So basically diathermic wall will allow transfer of heat from system to surrounding. So what will happen? Suppose here temperature is more. Okay, suppose that is T1 and here temperature is less, that is suppose T2. So because of diathermic wall, heat will transfer. Q means heat. Okay, heat will transfer from inside to outside. And because of that, eventually temperature inside T1 will become equal to temperature of surrounding. In that case, we can say that thermal equilibrium has been achieved. Okay, so this is the concept of diathermic wall. Diathermic wall means it will allow heat to flow from inside the system to outside the system. And because of this, we will achieve thermal equilibrium. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.